What's up, YouTube? It's me, Christian Cash. I'm gonna be doing about a weekly, maybe a nightly thing. Just thoughts on the indie scene and possibly, WWE stuff, TNA stuff. Really don't pay attention to Ring of Honor, so uh, you know, I'm just I just want to get it clear though that you know, it's Survivor Series night. A couple hours into it already. It's 9:31. Um, but yeah, I wasn't feeling it, so I didn't order it. As far as WWE, you know, I already know what the predicaments are. Sheamus is gonna lose because they already gave the belt you know, to Big Show and everything, which I give Big Show a lot of credit. For the time that he's been in there, he's done pretty much. He deserves what he does, regardless of if he's a heel or a face. Um, yeah. As far as like TNA and everything, you get Aces and Eights. It's just a cheap knockoff of the site. What's the name of that group? Disciples of Apocalypse. Crush did it. You probably know him as Brian Adams from WCW times with Chronic. Yeah, pretty much. You know, is it still recording? I guess it is. I'm doing this from my phone, so. Anyways, TNA, the Aces and Eights, they call it the Dead Man's Hand. I just want to put it out that as far as Aces and Eights, it's part of the storyline, just like Main Event Mafia was, just like the NWO, DX, all these different kinds of factions that they have in any corporation, regardless if it's NWA, WCCW, TNA, Impact, WWE, WWF, ECW. It's just the name Aces and Eights though. You could probably look it up. They actually got the name from the Dead Man's Hand, but in reality though, Aces and Eights is actually, I think it's from the 1970s, but it's the old Western movie called Aces and Eights. So I mean, they might want to like kind of change up the name of the group just because it's a 70s movie based on the West. I mean, as far as WWE's going right now, you got so many people in there that are just doing things that have already been seen. Justin Gabriel is pretty much like today's RVD. Brodus Clay, most of you probably don't even know he was Snoop Dogg's bodyguard. I don't know how he went from being a gangster to like, being, this tough ass dude that went from, beating up on people to, just dominating. Then he becomes a Funkasaurus and he's on a losing streak. I mean, granted tonight what I read on NoDQ.com is that he was in a pre-survivor match with Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, and Tyson Kidd, and it's pretty much he did that, but like I don't know how you can go from like a thug lifestyle to like dancing around and like getting your ass kicked by smaller guys. I mean, he was probably beating the shit out of people left and right, just getting people off of Snoop. I mean, look what Big Black did for Rob Dyrdek. You know what I mean? I mean, he does it, but they're boys. You know what I mean? It's just like my brother Goat. He's not my actual brother, but I've known him for over 20 years. He's my best friend, but I consider him as a brother because we've been there through thick and thin. He's in the music industry with my flesh and blood brothers, but it's like, through the game of just entertainment in Boston, especially, I'm associated with Mischievous Inc., which, we're all from Columbia Point and Harbor Point and Dorchester, Massachusetts. I was born and raised in Dorchester, and I also grew up in the South Boston area of Massachusetts too, which a good friend of mine, few good friends of mine that are in the wrestling business too. Reaper, he goes by Steve the Reaper Beck. There's Danny Deathwish, and there's Eric Unstoppable, and Tommy Moore, and Big Bear. And Big Bear actually in the 70s or 80s, he fought Andre the Giant in the WWF back when you can buy a WWF ticket for like $25 before like it was really getting big. And he fought him and everything, and he's from South Boston, Massachusetts. But it's just that the thing is with all the stuff that's going on, you got CM Punk pretty much like, oh, I'm the best in the world, da 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 da. Which in fact is nobody best in the world, because it's always going to be that one person that's going to be a face of a company. Like John Cena's passing it off to Ryback. Ryback is Skip Sheffield. He was part of Nexus, and all of a sudden, him and Cena are boys after he beat the shit out of him. That's storylines. That's just how it's written out. People don't think things through, like forgiving stuff. Like one minute, you're getting your ass kicked by this, young kid, and then the next thing, you're gonna be passing off the torch to whoever they make popular because they think that it's gonna be, a big deal. Now, my cousin, probably a lot of you know him. He goes by OKFabe on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube, and he ran NAW, which was New Alternative Wrestling, and I was a wrestler for his company with some of the RWA guys, and at the time it was like 2008. I didn't wrestle for about maybe a year or two, and I had a little bit of ring rust, and I kind of had a falling out with some of the guys from RWA that were associated with NAW, and one thing led to another. We ended up getting not into physical fights or anything, but arguments on the website that we had up and everything for NAW, and one thing led to another. But it's like I'm 29 now. I was 25, 26 then, and that was like almost 5 years ago, and I was going through a rough time in life and everything. It was only like maybe 7 years after my father passed away from a heart attack, and I don't know. It's pretty much like I became a born again Christian. I was Catholic, most of my life, and I became a born again Christian like 2 years ago, and pretty much from there, I want to, like, especially the number one person that I had a problem with was, you probably don't know him. If you go to rwawrestling.net, you'll probably see the Truth T Phoenix, and he was like mostly the one that I was having squalls with, and it led up to me talking shit to other wrestlers there and everything, because they were all on our roster too. But the thing I learned as I was getting older, from just in that short period of time, is that live and let live forget. I've been trying to make amends with Phoenix and the rest of them, and there's one guy that I actually talk to on a regular basis. Well, not on a regular basis, but I'll talk to him every great once in a while. He works for my cousin's mother's boyfriend in New Bedford, Massachusetts, DJ Crimson, and he's a good guy. We talked and everything, and I made my amends with him and everything. Let bygones be bygones and everything, and because like half of it was my fault. I kind of fucked up on things, but I'm trying to reach out to Phoenix and explain to him, I'm trying to man up and trying to let bygones be bygones. So I mean, I don't know, like, he'll be ready when he's ready to talk to me and everything. It's just the indie game. as far as being a fan on a fan skeptic, you got the wrestlers that you like, you got the wrestlers that you don't like. That's just all like pretty much, it's the business of the game. You know what I mean? Because when I first started off 10 years ago, July 19th will be exactly 10 years of me wrestling. I started when I was 19. I'm 29 now. And when I first started, I got into the business by accident through Danny Deathwish, Reaper, and Eric Unstoppable. And they helped me train and everything. I actually got the training from them, inside a, kind of, it was, at first it was, like backyard style and everything. We were doing it on cement and everything. I was learning how to take back bumps and face bumps on cement. So this way it was like a lot easier for me to take the blows on, in the ring. But then, I started going to Richard Burns Tank Judo Center in Malden, and I wasn't being trained by any of them. I was being trained by, by Reaper and by Danny Deathwish, in which, they've been buddies of mine since, like, we were just children. I mean, like, young children. I went to school with Danny Deathwish, in kindergarten, and it was funny because just a long story short, me, him, and my sister Holly were all in the same class together. And as far as Reaper, his family has been, friends with my family for a long time, so we've known each other for a long time too. And it's just like they got me into the business, and I'm very thankful for them. They've been good friends. They've been really good friends, and it's at some of that time where you gotta just do what you gotta do, and just go with the flow. But I'm gonna continue this on the second half. This is gonna be the first half of the video, so I'm gonna stop it and I'm gonna get back to more stuff that I was talking about.